Steve, what are you doing? Get out of the way. This isn't a nature documentary. It's Truck of the Year.
Truck of the Year?
Yeah.
How come nobody told me?
You were copied on the email threads.
Oh, well, if they came from John Yarconi, I kind of delete those ones.
We got a lot more testing to do. Come on.
Okay, let me... Well, it is that time of year again where we evaluate the latest and greatest in pickup trucks, though for 2018, the field is pretty thin.
Only 2 rigs really qualified for our 2018 AutoGuide.com Truck of the Year competition. We've got a heavily revamped Ford F-150 and Chevrolet's trail-ready Colorado ZR2.
And while yes, this year we only have the 2 trucks, next year an all-new Ram 1500 will launch, an overhauled Ford Ranger is coming to America, and Chevy's redesigned Silverado is also coming real soon. So there is a lot going on in the pickup truck world. But for now, 2018, all is quiet on the truckstern front.
Still, only one of these machines can win, though as always, this is not a comparison. What we're doing is figuring out which pickup is best at doing what it was designed to do.
Well, thanks for that boilerplate, Craig. It's both relevant and insightful.
Well, thank you, Steve. That's very nice of you. Now, Chevy is undoubtedly going to hate this comparison, but I've got to say the ZR2 here, it's a lot like a baby Raptor. This thing is an absolute beast off-road, and why shouldn't it be? The suspension has been lifted by about 2 inches. The track is roughly 3 inches wider than a stock Colorado. Plus, we've got super knobby tires on this thing. It has grip for days, and they're only M+S rated, right?
Yeah, that's the good thing. So they're Wrangler Duratracs. They're M+S, and as you've obviously seen, we've been going through some real snow the last couple of days, and they've performed really well, you know, to the point where if I bought this truck, I probably wouldn't get a second set of tires. These are actually good enough to run year-round.
Yeah.
And more to your point too, Craig, the fact that it has that wider track, it just gets that great stability when you're really hustling it off-road, you know? It really gives you confidence.
You've got a lot of suspension travel. Plus, another thing I noticed, this Colorado is a good size.
Yeah.
It's easy to maneuver on tight trails, you know?
I'm happy Chevy did this with the Colorado and not the Silverado because, you know, mid-size trucks inherently are great at off-roading just because they're a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller. I love the Raptor, but man, that thing is wide. It's so wide, takes up a full lane.
You need a commercial license to handle it.
And when you get on some of the, you know, tight trails like we were running on, it just feels massive. And this Colorado, like you just said, very right-sized. So yeah, you know what? These Wrangler Duratracs handle great in the snow, but I did get a little too eager at one point. I was crawling over this little rock hill and sort of got turtled. You know, all 4 of my wheels didn't have a lot of traction. But once again, these tires were able to just grab. My cameraman, smart guy that he is, grabbed a big rock, jammed it under the front tire, and it was able to just kind of clamber up it and take me right off that hill. And the fact that I could lock that differential up front and in the rear, well, that didn't hurt either.
But despite the off-road capability of this thing, on-road it's quite civilized. I've driven several hundred miles in it. It tracks pretty straight, it's quiet. The ride is surprisingly comfortable. You can tackle giant potholes, expansion joints, and the suspension just eats it all up.
Absolutely, and exactly that. That's all the suspension. It's those Multimatic dampers, and they really have a good way of soaking stuff up when you're off-road, when you're really beating on them. But then, yeah, on-road, you know, it's maybe a little more, you know, float to it than a regular Colorado, but, you know, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, and the performance is respectable as well. You nail the throttle. And this thing moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you've got 300 plus horsepower under hood. You've got an 8-speed automatic that's willing to play.
And it does.
And it goes.
You know, this is like both a good thing and a bad thing. It makes peak torque way up in the RPM range, so you do kind of have to really wring it out to get the power. But it does rev up pretty quick. It does like to rev. So again, when you're really pushing it, you know, you're kind of living in the high RPMs. But that's not such a bad thing.
I mean, it's a smaller V6 engine. It has to rev to make that power.
Yeah.
But when you've got a transmission that's willing to play, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
This 3.6 liter V6 does perform very well, though I don't love the engine. It feels pretty gritty. It sounds taxed when you really get on it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember GM's 3.6 being quite this unrefined in other applications, you know?
Yeah, no, fair enough. And for me, my biggest complaint, and we brought up the Raptor earlier, the Raptor gets a power number that no other F-150 gets. It gets that special EcoBoost, and it just makes the package feel more complete. The ZR2 just gets two regular stock Colorado engines, you know, the gas or the diesel, but it just doesn't make the truck come together as a real special package. And even going further than that, I think the same can be said for this interior. There isn't anything inherently wrong with it. I kind of like the ergonomics. Absolutely. But, really, the stitching in the headrest is all I get if I'm the ZR2 buyer. I just want something a little bit more, some graphics, something to really make this thing stand out.
One other element of this interior that I'm not a big fan of, and you know me, Steve, I'm kind of a seat connoisseur. These buckets just don't do it for me. They're flat, the foam padding is too hard.
Yeah.
Don't like them.
And there's just not enough thigh support. They don't come out far enough. Although I still will take these seats over what you can find in the Tacoma.
Oh, absolutely.
This truck's main competitor.
Absolutely. These are superior. But they could be a little better.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is a quick look at the 2018 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2, a great all-around mid-size pickup truck that is especially versatile off-road.
Yeah, and you know what? All-around off-road, that's what this truck is all about. High-speed desert running, this thing can do it. Slow-speed rock crawling, lock the differentials, this thing can do it. And we've proven that the white stuff barely slows this truck down. So yeah, that's it for the ZR2. Now we're gonna go jump in the F-150 and we're gonna see what that thing is really all about. So here we are in the 2018 F-150 now, and let's just get right into my favorite thing, the powertrain. This 3.5 liter EcoBoost, it's putting out 375 horsepower, but more importantly, 470 pound-feet of torque.
It's crazy.
And when you mat the throttle, the power comes on so quickly and it just delivers such an immense wave of torque. It's so great.
Making the most of that, too, is a 10-speed automatic transmission. This is a fantastic gearbox. It is so smooth, so impressively dialed in. I don't know how they did it, frankly.
Totally. And I have to say, I was skeptical. I think a lot of people are, right? More gears, you think it's going to be hunting. It is a busy transmission. You can watch it. It's jumping all over the place, but you can't tell.
Yeah, you don't feel it.
You don't
hear
feel it.
Nothing. And if you're in like 9th gear cruising along and you mat the accelerator, it'll drop down to 3rd like that.
Yeah.
And you don't even feel it. It's just suddenly the RPM are higher and you're going.
Yeah. No, Ford really nailed it with this 10-speed. And like you said, it's just maximizing what you're getting from all of the engines across the lineup.
Which includes what? You can get a 3.3 naturally aspirated base engine. You can get a 2.7 EcoBoost V6, which is sort of the volume power plant, I would think.
Yeah, and then the 5-liter V8.
Of course,
and
gotta love the 5.0.
Absolutely.
You know, Steve, if there is one downside to this powertrain, though, it's the sound.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds pretty good, but it's fake.
Yeah,
They're
it's
pumping
fake.
it in.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it feel just a little like they're cheating.
Yeah.
But I don't know in the long run if it really matters. So yeah, the F-150 absolutely puts a lot of power to the ground, but once the snow starts falling, there's a problem. Here in our limited model, we get a set of Pirelli Scorpion tires, and these are OEM, straight from the factory tires, and they are M+S rated, but that S, it's lying to you, okay? The snow just totally defeats these tires, and sadly, when you try to put the power to the ground, you pretty much get nothing but slip.
The thing barely moves in the snow and ice. It's quite scary sometimes.
Yeah, so the tires have definitely been disappointing. If you buy one of these trucks, get snow tires.
And that affects the towing as well.
Absolutely.
The F-150 can tow more than 10,000 pounds as equipped here,
Yep.
which is, as far as I know, best in segment, right?
Yep.
And it'll do it, it'll pull it all day long, but in snow and ice, it's a little sketch.
Yeah, when you have these tires and a lot of weight behind you, we hooked up 7,000 pounds to this truck, and when you nail the throttle, when you get tire slippage and the truck is doing this, held back by the trailer, it's not a great feeling.
But Steve, on the subject of trailering, Ford has made it super easy to hook up a trailer and tow. You can do it yourself in the blink of an eye, basically. I mean,
yeah, and you know what? You just said it right there. Do it yourself. That's what Ford, in my opinion, has really pushed towards. You don't really need a second person. So first of all, in terms of eyeballs, you have all of these cameras. Ford has cameras all the way around, 360 degrees, a great nose camera, cameras in the mirrors, and then in the back, not only do you get the camera on the hitch, you can actually zoom in so you can really see close up your hitch ball, and you can
see right where it is and line it up perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. It's
you
very
get out,
easy
you
to
lower
line
the
it
tongue,
up.
and you're done.
Exactly. Beyond that, the F-150 will even check your lights for you. It has little indicators letting you know if your lights are working. And then there's even a trailering checklist. So basically, after you hook your trailer up, you sit in your truck and you go through it, and it says, you know, is your foot raised? Are the chains hooked up? Are the lights hooked up? Et cetera, et cetera. If you've done this a lot of times, maybe you think you don't need it, but in my opinion, more information and more emphasis on safety is always a good thing. And you
even
know,
for the pros that trailer every week, right?
Absolutely.
You can't have enough reinforcement of that.
Absolutely. And I forgot to mention one other thing. You can even get a camera now for the back of your trailer. Stick it on the rear end of your trailer, so when you're backing up, you can even see what's back there. You just can't beat having more eyeballs around your trailer.
So that's all well and good. This truck will work hard and it'll do it all day long. But
And
what about
smart.
creature comforts? Because that's really where you're spending your time, is inside the truck, right? And this limited model is beautifully turned out. You've got soft leather, you've got nice accents and small details here and there. It's really well thought out.
It's still the only truck that will give me a massage while I drive.
Exactly.
And
These
that's kinda
seats
hard
are
to argue with.
amazing.
They really are that good.
Absolutely
They're very
amazing.
comfortable. The contours just feel great. One other thing about this F-150 interior, you might not think it's a big thing, but the flat floor in the back, totally flat low floor, the seat folds up, you just get so much space, and you don't have to worry about, you know, the transmission tunnel and things sitting funny and off kilter.
You can slide a box right in easily, no trouble.
Yeah.
We did that with a lot of our camera equipment over the last couple days.
Yeah, you know what, and you
Goes
only
in
need
like no trouble.
you only need to load a few heavy things into the back of your truck to really appreciate that.
And while we're in here, we should also mention the Sync 3 infotainment system. It's super fast, easy to use, huge improvement over the old My Ford Touch technology.
Absolutely, easily on par with everything else in the industry right now. And then you also have this big screen in my info cluster here. And I'll say quickly on the downside, there's so much information here that you really need to kind of study this thing and learn all of its functions. But that's not a big issue because there is so much here. It just gives you more information about your truck than I think any other truck out there. And I've already said it, more information, always a good thing.
So earlier, Steve, we were complaining about the tires, and rightfully so. They suck in the snow. But another issue with this rig in winter weather are the optional side steps, the ones on the bed. Because the F-150 has such a deep bed, you could never reach in and grab something you put in there. So they sell these optional side steps that pop out. Well, guess what? In the slop and the snow, they froze solid and won't pop out now. It's crazy.
Yeah, winter is harsh, man. It really tests your engineering. So Craig, it's funny, there's actually so much to do with trailering that I forgot two things which are kind of important. First of all, you have the Pro Trailer Backup Assist on this truck. It's the only half-ton to offer it. It's a great system. It's just a little knob down here that when you turn it, it turns your trailer. So turn the knob right, the trailer goes right. It takes a lot of stress out of trailering. Although I will say, if you buy a trailer and can't back it up the old-fashioned way, you shouldn't own that trailer. And there's also tire pressure monitoring for your trailer's tires. Honestly, I really think Ford has kind of thought of everything.
So, obviously there is a ton going on with this 2018 F-150. Pretty substantial update to this Ford truck. And you know, we've got a brand new Ram that's coming out shortly. Chevy is hard at work on a Silverado redo. Things ain't gonna get easier for Ford in this segment.
No, really. And this 18 F-150, I'm calling it a preemptive strike. You know, Ford's trying to get ahead of that curve. And they've done a great job. So those crosstown rivals, they've really got their work cut out for them.
All right, Steve, so we have done a ton of testing here over the last few days, and we haven't managed to die of hypothermia yet.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising, actually, although I do have some black toes.
Anyway, so we've got two incredible pieces of engineering here, and that ZR2, let me tell you, whether you are rock crawling, desert running, or just bombing through the backwoods on a snowy afternoon, it is the real deal.
Yeah, you know what? I like it because it's not just a warmed over Colorado. You know, a 3.5-inch wider track, 2-inch lift. There's some real engineering that went into making it great. However, they didn't quite go far enough. It needs a little something else under the hood, and the interior kind of feels half-baked. Now on the flip side, we have this 2018 Ford F-150. This thing has so many smart, innovative features that just make it so easy to work with.
Especially when you're towing. That camera system, I was blown away by. So easy.
Absolutely. It offers up so much information to the driver, and that's very helpful. Now add on to that 4 excellent powertrains, and then that 10-speed automatic. I mean, it's so well dialed in, and it proves, once again, Ford is not scared to innovate when it comes to pickup trucks. So for those reasons, and so many more, the 2018 Ford F-150 is our AutoGuide.com Truck of the Year. Now we gotta go warm up, Craig. Let's get some coffee, man.
Yeah, do you know if there's like a hot Long Island iced tea? I could really go for one.